why aren't you guys doing Karate Kid?
Kid moves to LA and gets beat up a lot, and then he has to learn karate. But first, he's got to like fix this guy's house, and he's like, "I just fixed your house." He's like, "Why to learn karate?" My relationship to karate at all, like just karate.
Yeah. Do you do karate?
I don't know. No, I never. I don't like getting hurt. I don't like getting hit in the face, and I think it's because of this movie. I think this movie kind of made me not want to. I think some kids saw it and they're like, I want to like get into karate and go to like dojos exploded all over, the U.S. after this movie. Yeah. But for me, it was like, no, I don't. That Billy kid kicks a guy in the face. And I was like, that kick to the face towards the end of the movie, I was like, I don't want to deal with it. It's over. There's a dojo down the street from my house, actually. There actually is. So really? I will see kids and karate gis like walking around, getting on a bus, John G. Avildsen, who directed Rocky. He has a weird career. He made like these really kind of weird movies in the early 70s that were kind of like, one's like kind of X-rated, and there's one called Joe that was like Susan Sarandon's first movie that's kind of strange, and then somehow he made Rocky. Like it was kind of like this weird career shift, and then he did this movie and I think another sports movie. He did a bunch of stuff. He did a movie called Neighbors with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. That's not good. Yeah. And Fight on Sand. Yeah, he's so good in this movie, though. Remember, he was in The Outsiders, too. And he was like, he's so good. Oh, The Outsiders is great. That was a great movie. He's so good in The Outsiders. Like, what's The Outsiders? What's a movie? Did you know it took place in the United States, or did you think it took place?
I knew it took place in the United States.
Oh, okay.
But
that's good. I always think, but Mr. Miyagi is just such a mysterious. As a kid watching this, you wanted that person, because I always felt the most heartbreaking thing was that feeling of being bullied, and then the scenes with the mom after he's bullied when he comes home.
Oh, yeah.
Those are like, watching it as a kid was very emotional, because you were like, oh, the shame of like your parents seeing you like that, and now that I'm a parent. Those scenes are still they're very well done, and they're very effective, and that you wish you had. There's nothing more satisfying. I remember seeing this movie in the theater than when the kids are beating him up and Mr. Miyagi comes up the fence and jumps down and beats him up. The place went nuts. Everybody started, I remember being like, I was 6 when this movie came out, and the whole place started cheering. Everybody was so stoked that the maintenance guy, who was on Happy Days, so everybody knows him from Happy Days, like jumps down and just starts kicking the shit out of these bad guys. And it was like, thank God. And it is. It's like, awesome. It's such a crowd-pleasing, you get like a massive crowd-pleasing moment, like kind of in the first third of the movie, which is like, I remember that's saying something, that the movie's got you that, well. I think he knows exactly where to hit them to or something like, and how hard. So it's just like, if one hit there will just drop a person. But somehow, I mean, when you watch it now, though, I remember watching it with the kids, and when Ralph Macchio's getting beat up by them, my kids got like really upset, because he gets the living shit kicked out of him.
It's
and
tough.
You're like, well, he wouldn't just have a black eye and like being like trash. But I mean, it's so brutal. But it helps for the movie, because you're like, oh my God, I want him to get revenge so bad. I think it makes the Miyagi scene. They couldn't just give him a talking to, like, we're gonna beat you up. Like they need to like kick the shit out of him, to feel it, I guess. Let's talk about his Halloween costume, the shower. And it was kind of like you dreamed about that. Like that Elizabeth Shue, she became kind of like, for I think a generation of dudes, especially it was like the quintessential, like her, and it was like Elizabeth Shue and Phoebe Cates and Gremlins. It was like,
they're both so cute.
Cute. Where you're like, wow, what if I meet a girl like that? All those movies, that's the joke in it, that all the high school kids are played by like 30-year-olds. When they're dancing, it is kind of like, hey buddy, leave that young lady alone.
Oh my God, wait.
Hey, what are you doing there? I will say, as a guy, I dislike this part, because it gave you really false hope. You're like, well, this is just how girls are. You show up, you say, I'm from out of town. And they're like, well, I'm in love with you. I don't care what my past is. It's all about you, skinny Italian boy. Well, this movie has put him in a body bag just became a thing that people just said, and especially the way that guy says it, where he's like a little rat face guy. Put him in a body bag. And then sweep the leg was huge. Sweep the leg was like going for like playing dirty. That became like a term for playing dirty. It is like, it was also cool seeing this as a kid. It was like anybody who was tough in movies was like, a little crazy. Like that was the whole thing, was that they were nuts. And it was so great seeing Mr. Miyagi. It was like the polar opposite. Was like, you can be tough, but also there was this like discipline to it. And he personified the discipline. And it was like, he had this quiet confidence about him that you were just like, I want someone like this. You don't want Chuck Norris in your life. You just don't want that guy in your life, because he's legitimately nuts. So that was very good to see as a young kid. But I do feel like that was like an 80s villain thing, was that it was all very black and white, and it taught you as a kid, like, bullies are just, it's like Stephen King books. It's like the bad guys, it's like they are only bad. And they see a dog, they kick it to death. There's no redeeming qualities. There's not a 3 dimension anywhere near them. It's just like, I exist to be mean, and then at the last second I'm going to be nice. That's all you needed to do is beat him in a tournament, and then they'd be like, I was wrong for pushing my girlfriend. I thought it was. I would give it 5 stars. Yeah. Just I also solely because it has so many childhood memories of watching this, and it was a very indelible theater experience. I don't know if you guys had those, where you just remember exactly what the theater was, where you saw it, how you felt after. It was one of those movies for me. And I think it's a very generous movie, I think. And also short. Each scene of this movie you can't take a scene out of it and it won't work. So each scene moves the thing forward. That was what's fun about watching a lot of those movies. Yeah. Is that it used to be like a craft. Yeah. You had to like, each scene has to move the story forward. If not, it has to go. And it does, Yeah. And it works. It builds to that ending so well, and then it's out.